You guys have been asking for it, so I'm giving it to you. Welcome to the van tour. So this here is my 2023 Ford Transit Custom long wheelbase. I bought this brand new from Ford. Cost me about $55,000, obviously financed, but I picked this up in November of 2023 and it's been awesome. It did not look like this at the start. It was obviously unwrapped and the inside of it was much, much different. And it's gone through a lot of iterations to get to where it is today, where I think it's pretty amazing. I'm pretty proud of how the van is set up these days, and that's thanks to so many other people that are involved in it and so many other companies that have helped set this van up. But we'll talk about the outside first. So top down, we have got the wedge tail commercial roof rack with two 150mm bazookas. These bazookas are awesome. They store so much, and I initially was going to only do one. I don't know why I decided on two. I think I carry a lot of conduit. We do a lot of undergrounds, and then you always just want to have a bit of stuff on you as well. And it's also got these lockable front and rear cases, which is much better than like the standing plumbing pipes that you would otherwise have. And I rocked one of those for ages. You'd always lose the lid, or I makeshifted like a chain so it didn't fall away. But this is like a lot nicer, and it's a lot better than just like not having anything and just strapping a bunch of conduits to your van and just looking like an absolute cowboy, which if you do, no judgment here. I did it for 2 years and now I'm up to this. So let's go around and look at the ladders. So for the extension ladder, I'm rocking a Gorilla 3.6 fiberglass ladder. I bought this from Total Tools. And then I have a Gardle, I don't know, it was a cheap 6-foot ladder. I bought this as soon as I went out of my business, out of my own. And I actually rocked this for maybe 6 months. No 4-foot ladders, no 3-foot ladders, just this one. And I was doing everything off it and it absolutely sucked. So I'm very much glad to have these Gorilla 4-foot ladders that I rock now. These are much nicer. Now, one of the coolest parts of this van is the wrap itself. Now, this was done by Tradie Wraps down, I think they're in Kilsyth, which is sort of like eastern suburbs of Melbourne. And I paid a lot of money for it, I'm not gonna lie. But the whole process was insane. And I've actually got a bit of footage I'll throw up here of me seeing it for the first time. It was a pretty surreal experience going from a plain van to this. Now that being said, I have some drawbacks on the wrap. One being I can't drive like an absolute nonce anymore, but there are some design issues that I think I would have done away with going into the next van wrap that I do. The main ones being that the yellow stripe down the bottom looks awesome, but because it's a bit more of a yellow color, it just gets dirty really easily. And obviously it's my call to action. It's my phone number and the website. And I feel like the website's useless. Get rid of the website. It's pretty straightforward. And if anyone Googles me, YouTube's popping up at the moment now anyway. And my website's not finished built yet anyway. Phone number I feel like needs to be up high. And just, yeah. So as a whole, I do love this van immensely. I love the look of it. I'm pretty sure everyone recognizes it. Everyone comments on how great it looks. And I didn't want it to look like everyone else's van. I wanted to go for like a retro 50s old bakery style delivery truck. And I feel like I kind of nailed it. Something out of a Quentin Tarantino film. That was the vibe I was going for. And as a overall, I'm really happy with it now. I also had a crash recently, and I'm bloody spewing about it. It was my fault, but I didn't put it through insurance because it's not that expensive. So anyway, dash and inside the van. So the inside of the van is completely stock, but as for what we keep inside the van, we have UHF radios that we rock. We do have like obviously our business cards. We've just purchased review cards and we've got fridge magnets now. So all that stuff stays in here, which is really good. Yeah, there's nothing to talk about here. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let's go in the back. So a lot of the guys I know are rocking out of the side of their vans for all their tools. I am the opposite of that. This thing only having one door here, not two doors, means that I'm pretty limited on what I would consider to be accessible space. So this side is mainly for storing of gear. So we have buckets and everything, which I keep all like my bulk fit off gear in. And then I keep my 2 4-foot ladders in here as well. This is being filmed with one of them, hence why it's not there. I've also got this little inverter set up here, but it doesn't work at the moment, so that's got to get fixed up. But the idea is that I can charge my batteries while we drive. Up here I keep my little, what's this called? A laser level? That just magnets to the top there. Otherwise, the main feature of this section is the pull-out drawer. So in this drawer, I keep all my cable. I've actually got this little box in here at the moment, but it's a different story. But basically, we keep all our sort of less used cables up the back here. So security cable, we've got shielded pair coil, aircon cable, and figure 8. That stuff all sits at the back here. I carry a bit of 10mm orange circ because you know what happens, my shit gets stolen all the time. So in case we ever need to quickly extend something, or if I need something in a switchboard, I've just got 10 meters or 5 meters, whatever that is there. And then obviously the usual suspects of 1mm and 2.5 and 1.5 and twin and SDI and da-da-da-da-da. And then I keep a Cat 6 and a coax drum, and that pretty much gets me out of every jam I need to. The only other thing I could maybe think is carrying 2 Cat 6s, because often if we're doing a few data runs, you are trying to double them up. So, and it happens often, you're running multiple to certain spots if you've got like 2 cameras pointing different ways. So sometimes I keep a second one of these. I just took it out of the van though, because I don't think I need it anytime soon. But this is massive. This is like 1.5 meters deep and was built by Van Fit Outs, and it's just incredible. I'm in love with this. So good. It's honestly probably the best way I store my material, or my phone's in there. So coming up close, we've obviously got this false floor and all the drawer system, which was built by Van Fit Outs in Melbourne. These guys did a pretty astounding job. I've obviously damaged a little bit here and there now. I'm trying a new conduit storage. It's just with a strap. I can't work out a great way to store these. So if you've got a good way, leave it in the comments. This Milwaukee box is empty, believe it or not. The idea of it is that, oh, there is some stuff in there. The idea of this is that if we need to like travel distance, where maybe we're going to a big job site, we can load this up, stack our screw box and radio and pack out and stuff, and clip our tools to it, and then we can very easily get to where we need to go, and we're not like having to lug stuff. So this really is probably just more of a convenience tool rather than anything. But I love having it. I don't use it a whole heap, but it is great to have. Down the front side of this, I keep these really strong yellow tongues. I kind of rate these more than just like a standard Bunnings like yellow flooring tongue. These are great if you don't need to go around a corner. Bloody hell, they're so strong. I got 2 of these and I destroy them. Don't buy the ones from Total Tools, just buy the ones from Bunnings. They're a quarter of the price. They do break, but you get a good life out of them. What else? I got my kneel pad here as well, in case I ever want to be sitting on my knees for a long time. So yeah, not a whole heap that happens on this side. It is a lot of in and a lot of out. The other reason I don't operate my tools out of this side is that if you are, say like having to park in a car park, getting your tools in and out and someone's parked next to you is a real pain in the ass. As opposed to this, we're probably only grabbing, a drummer cable, which yes, can be hard to get to if someone's parked there, but it hasn't really caught me out yet. And usually you're only carrying a couple of boxes of gear, or grabbing, the Milwaukee pack out roller, which you're immediately going to carry to the back and start loading up anyway. So there's not a whole heap of like risky heavy lifting that happens here in my day to day. So I'm pretty happy with how this setup is on the side at the moment. The only thing I probably would change, and I don't want to limit the width of the space here, but maybe just a small set of shelves at the back to carry some more a bit more stock that maybe doesn't get used as often, or like downlights and stuff, because I don't have a good place to keep bulk downlights. You can sort of see here, I have got just like a box of downlights, but that's quickly getting used in the next day or two. Do you know the Sparkies in England have over like 100,000 subscribers? They love their electricians over there, but for some reason, no one here wants to subscribe. So if you could subscribe, let's try and beat these pommies at their own game, because I reckon we can give them a run for their money. Victorian Sparkies are known as the best Sparkies in the world. I'm not saying I'm a great Sparky by any chance, but I definitely would like to be competing with the big boys on YouTube. It's a big goal of mine. So if you wouldn't mind clicking subscribe, Even if you don't have a Gmail account, it takes 2 seconds. Make a fake one, just click subscribe. It helps the algorithm push this video out to many more people, and for that I will be eternally grateful for you. Back to the video. All right, the money shot. Alright, I'm going to open these up a bit more. That way I can stand to the side. So, the rear of the van is where the magic happens. This is where we keep all our tools, we keep a bunch of stock, and we keep everything that's quick and accessible. So, let's start at the right-hand side here. We've got the Dual Slider Pro from 3D Pro down in Bayswater. You guys might have seen the video. I'll put the link up there if you haven't seen the video, but we had a lot of fun, and putting this in was a absolute game changer for the van. And I'm being genuine here because for the longest time I was trying to make something like this work by just doing it myself, and it didn't work. I'll throw a video up of what it used to look like, but the truth be told, this thing is like, it's just good. I don't know how else to say it. It's just a good piece of equipment. So let's slide it out, and then we'll look at what's in here and go from there. Woohoo, ladies and gentlemen. So starting at the front, we have the brand new lockout and lift kit. I'm going to do a full video on this and showing you all the different locks in this and how they work. So subscribe if you want to see that. I'm super excited to show you guys what's in this, because this is important, and it's about time someone did something sexy and important with something that is notoriously unsexy. So subscribe to see that. So on the front, we have our first aid kit, which I've just shoved into a mini Milwaukee, and that goes onto the mini slider adapter. Can I do this one-handed? I don't know. Yeah, boy. So that sits there like that. That's our like 2 most critical life-saving points at the very front of the van. If we ever need them, we use them. No excuses. Coming to the side of the van here, we've got our screw box number 1. The reason it's number 1, it's our most common rough-in and fit-off stuff. I'll show you what's in there shortly. We've got the radio. This is the pack-out radio. Super expensive radio, and I probably could have gone something a little bit cheaper and different. I don't know why I went this, but it's good. I recommend it. And then we've got a 3-drawer system. I'm going to break into all of these shortly, but second screw box is up here. That's our lesser used stuff, our TV and data, crimps and all that stuff. Conduit box, so this keeps all our couplings, our bends, plain to screw adapters, all that kind of stuff. Then we've got a 2-drawer system. This keeps a handful of spare tools, TV and data stuff, and then some long drill bits and other stuff, big downlight cutouts, stuff that otherwise wouldn't fit into the smaller drawers. This hasn't changed since I set it up. I'm really happy with how this looks. So when I close this, I still have a little bit of access down the side, and that keeps my trench shovel. I use a trench shovel. It's just the best. And then I've also got a set of crimpers in there as well. That's pretty much that side. I tried storing conduit rolls down the side, but they always got snagged on this, so I'm trying something different. All right, moving across to the left. So on the front, I've got my PowerPoint tester. It's not my favorite tester in the world because it doesn't test like a neutral earth cross, but it is a good tester just for checking and actually tripping power if you ever need to do that. We keep our tool bags straight down the guts. I don't know why that's falling down. So let me get these out of the way. Young Jameses. So we have just a cheap nasty Skytech. I've actually cut the bottom of this down. I've cut the back of it out to make it fit however it needs to fit. Now in the top of this we carry a bunch of safety stuff, so you can see my earmuffs there. I've got earplugs, I've got knee pads right up the back. We've also got a ton of gloves, and then I also keep just like a handful of isolators. There's a wall sensor, a couple of things that like I probably wouldn't use all the time. They're bulky, they're out of the way, so they really just get thrown up there. I don't have a great system for it, but I also don't think I need a great system. There's not a whole lot up there. Now in the second shelf, we go, the last 2 bays here are Clipsal Iconic. So we've got switches and power points, usually accounted in 1s, 2s, and so forth. And then we've got classic switches and classic GPOs. So any wall plates that I pretty much would need across the type of work I'm doing is in here. Then the back shelf, we've got plug bases, which are loose plug bases because I usually have tons of them. They always just end up getting destroyed. Then I've got batten holders and globes. So I don't keep a whole heap of globes on me just because we don't really put a whole heap of batten holders up, but often in roofs is where we need them. And then I've got a shitload of connectors from Pacific Components. If you're not using Pacific Components, what are you using? This middle tray here is my lugs, joiners, crimps, and all the stuff that you need to fix stolen cable. Thank you very much. And then this one here, I keep a handful of mechs for both Iconic and Classic. Then at the back here, I've got a bunch of pole fillers and switchboard labels and the likes of buzz bar protectors and stuff like that. And then in this last one here, I keep just a few safety switches, RCBOs. I usually carry more than this, so this might expand. But we'll see. And then obviously just a few bulk extra stuff here, which again, I would say I kind of want to stick up the back because I don't feel like they need to be as quickly accessible here. On the bottom level, we keep our cable clips in the far corner because we don't need them too often unless we're doing a rough-in or we're in a roof, which I don't do a whole lot of maintenance work at the moment, but we might scale up soon and that might change. I've got a switchboard that was sent to me by Trader. Thank you, Trader. My blue glue, which is just regularly handy to have right there. And then here I keep this is my label maker, the Brother label maker. I did a video on this when I spoke about some tools that I think everyone should have. I've got some recharge cartridges for the label maker. And then I've just got a PE-cell that's sitting there. I didn't carry a PE-cell for ages, and then I had like 3 jobs in a row that all required a sunset switch. And so now I just keep at least one on me, and I find that they're really good to have. The other thing I've got on this is my knife collection because I'm trying to find the best knife. I still think Klein have got the best one. And then on the back here, I've got my old lockout kit. I've got my retro fluke meter, which I'm keeping here for a video. I have hopefully a surprise with the fluke meter coming up soon. Some hook wires because we love what insulation guys and plasterers do to our cables. And I'm now just carrying 2 silicone guns. I've just found this old one at home, but basically to have a fire sealant one and a silicone one because it's easy to get confused, and I find that I'm often having to reload one out and put another one in. So if I just carry 2, it makes my life a bit easier. This is here because it's just getting returned, but I keep my light here, my Milwaukee light, that's very good. And then we have a couple of patch covers. These were actually recommended to me by AIF. He put a post on, I was like, I didn't even know these existed, and these are awesome. And they kind of give you a green light to cut a big ass hole as well. So that's good. And I keep my cable ties just behind here as well. I am going to set up like a little holster for this eventually. I haven't gotten around to that yet. So that all just marries up in that corner for now. This here is a little bit of P50 NBN conduit that holds all my heat shrink. So anything heat shrink related I need to do. And then I have a bit of overflow heat shrink that goes into this drawer here. Otherwise, I keep my broom up high, and I think that's the top. I'll go through my bag. I'll do a what's in my bag video for you guys as well, so you can see what I'm carrying. It's nothing to write home about. I don't have the craziest tools, but everyone wants to see how other Sparkies are set up, so I will happily share how I am set up. All right, into the drawers. So these drawers are just shy of like 2 meters long, and yeah, these are freaking insane. So from the back, we are rocking, I've got 2 Paslow guns, only because I bought them from a police auction, which was pretty cool. And then I also have hard hats because we do a couple of like commercial fit out jobs for mechanical plumbers. So sometimes we've got to have hard hats. This tub here usually carries mechanical related stuff. And when I say mechanical, I'm talking like I've got some cable tray, I've got some recess boxes, ducts, saddles. It's a bit of an overflow random stock pot. It just really just holds stuff. There's a reason it's at the back, is what I'm saying. So this oyster light's actually meant for a job that's coming up. Moving across, this one usually stores all our light fittings and a few USB power points. So a lot of LED strips. I've got a couple of coupling stuff that can actually come out of the van. If I had Dynabolts or any other overflow stuff that doesn't make it to the screw boxes, that would usually go in this tub. And then if I've got excess downlights, they go into this tub. But I've just cleared out all my downlights for a video where I'm going to do some free electrical work. So that goes in there. Now, coming to the front here, we start to get into sort of the setting up of site and cleaning up of site. So I've got a few of the awesome 3D Pro buckets. These black ones are good for carrying gear, but the blue one, the big 40-litre bucket, is bloody awesome. I've got the worst vacuum ever made that I've got to replace soon, the Milwaukee vacuum, the M18. I'm going to get the big pack out one. And then I've got a roll-up lead, which is awesome. So yeah, this is like clean up stuff, obviously. And then coming forward, we've got silicon storage, spray can and gas bottle and stuff, and then a little bit bigger to store more blue glue and the likes of. So pretty much finishing and starting job is like right here. So I'm never thinking like, where's my fire sealant, where's my silicon, where's my spray cans, where's my blowtorch. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is really good and really intuitive for me to have all of this at the front of this long ass drawer. All right, let's get into this one. So I'm doing a lot of new builds, so we have a lot of heat shrink overflow, especially for the mastic stuff. So that all gets pushed up this side. From the back, I have my least used tools. I've got my circ saw there at the moment because I haven't really been using it. But otherwise, I've got some dirty old emergency tools. Proper emergency. I've never had to use them, but in the event that like all my batteries die or water damage or theft or anything, these are tucked right up the back and means that I can still go to work the next day. And if shit hits the fan, I should be okay. This one here is all my spare tools. So I carry a lot of spare tools. There's probably a few too many things in here at the moment, but typically I keep spare screwdrivers, spare pliers, random fixing tools, tin snips, pipe benders, another set of conduit cutters, and all that other stuff in here. It's just in the event that like if my main tools break out of my tool belt, or out of my tool bag, I should say, then I can come here and just get something to keep me going. It's happened to me enough times. I'm really rough on my gear. I am unapologetically brutal with my stuff. So that stuff is here for spares. Then coming forward with just sort of more used. It's more used as I come along is a great way to look at it. So I've got my FLIR thermal imaging gun. This was an awesome piece of equipment I bought before I even ran a business. Maybe a story for another day. But I've got my grinder, impact staple gun, and this awesome Wera setup. I've used that a couple of times now. And then coming forward, I've got my 2 chargers, hammer drill, multi-tool, my IR tester, my main drill, and then all our batteries sit across the front here, and my 12-volt batteries sit along the side. And then any like straps, stuff to put stuff on the roof is always just right here. So we always know where everything needs to be. So I think that's everything. So I'm going to go through my screw box and I'm going to go through all these drawers on the right hand side here, and you can get a real understanding of why I've got things set up, and hopefully I can give you guys a good answer, because I'm really proud of how I've got this van set up now. All right, screw box number 1 is freshly loaded. So I use these red anchors for most lightweight fittings. I really like them. I hate wall mates. I do not use wall mates. Because they don't ever sit flush on the ceiling. A bunch of 50mm screws, 30mm screws, roof battens, green plugs. I'm low on plaster brackets, and some spring toggles are in there as well. Then connectors, 20 self-tapping screws, 20mm screws, and 40mm screws. Then in here I also carry pretty much everything to install what is in here. So I've got a 6mm drill bit, I've got a 5mm drill bit, I've got some pop rivet drill bits, I've got a Stanley knife, some long power point screws that just sort of float around the middle there. This is like my everyday carry, essentially. This does not change. So that's nice and simple. I've also got these freaking awesome statewide Sparkies clips that were made by Luke at 3D Pro. Second screw box, I'll show you nice and quickly. So pretty much data in this bottom side, TV in this bottom side, strippers and crimpers, extenders, crimps, then some tappets and screw-in tappets, just because. I keep my staples in here as well. Pass-through RJ45s. These are great. These, like, I don't know what they're called, but these are awesome. I was mounting aircon head units with these for ages, along with timber, but these are good if you've got something nice and really heavy that you need to install. That's it. My shitty data tester that I'm going to upgrade soon, and my RJ45 crimps are in there. I use the Klein Tool ones. Cannot complain. So my long bits, obviously I've got my massive 150mm cement sheet hole saw. This is for really just installing like duct vent covers. This thing will break your wrist. I've got a nice long 20mm drill bit. I've got extension bits in case they're full noggins. So I keep 3 of those, and then a bunch of other hole saws for just certain different brands of materials of stuff. And then this big core hole guy does, if I have a duct that's going out through brickwork, which surprisingly enough on new builds, this seems to be the way. In the bottom, we've got a TV tester, some other random stuff. I've got some Velcro straps, a couple of blow torches. This here is awesome. I use this for putting on covers of LED strips. Really handy. A couple other random tools in there. It's probably not as efficiently organized as it should be, but there it is. This one here is where the money is. So from the bottom, this is sort of super long screws, a couple of nails and tappets, bolts, lots of bolts in here in case I ever need to bolt something like an overhead box. I've also got these little tough dogs from Boltex that are freaking awesome. This usually is just like, if it ain't in there, it's in here. Heat shrink and hole saws. So all my main hole saws are in here. So everything from standard 90 mils, something a bit smaller so that it'll suit like a cell coulomb, my solder and my soldering iron, and some boots for heat shrinking and stuff like that. And if I've got to cut through some pretty intense stuff. So nice and quick and accessible. I don't even need to pull this out to get access to this front half, which is really handy. And then the top one is a bit of a schmozzle because I lost the dividers, but basically my hammer drill bits all stay in here. I've got multi-tool bits, grinding bits, drill bits and spade bits, and then I also keep batteries and my grey lead overflow for my my little picker grey lead pen. This is awesome. I have no complaints with how this is set up at all. I think that's it. I think that I've covered everything that I carry. If you're gonna have tons of questions if you're a Sparky. So put them in the comments. I answer every comment on YouTube, but I'll probably do a Q&A on Instagram if you guys have got any questions about the van. I couldn't tell you how much money I've spent on this van, but for the way it makes me organized and efficient and everything else, I cannot complain. This thing goes out and makes me money just as much as I go out and make me money. So I'm really proud to have this van set up the way it is, and you know, it feels like a bit of a sinkhole now, but I am getting to the end of it. The only thing I probably have left to do is a tow bar. So, but I'm already pretty close to the money on weight that this thing can carry. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, let me know. I'll try and put a link to all the different trades and companies that have made this van possible in the description below. Everyone from Tradie Wraps and Van Fit Outs and 3D Pro. And yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, and subscribe. I want to get to 10,000. We're nearly at 6. The last video is doing really well. I'm really happy with it. You guys seem to enjoy it, and we should have episode 2 up of the Renault series next week as well. So see you later. Thanks for watching.